G'day guys, Waldo here, and this is going to be a video or a series, I guess, on restoring my boat. There she be right there. 1990 Seanymph SPORTFISHER GLS195. Seanymph trailer. One thing I did do to the trailer was I upgraded the wheels. There were 13-inch wheels. Upgraded to 14-inch because it hauled like junk. So what I did was actually cut the fenders off. They were down here, and I raised them all the way up top flush. And then I was able to give me enough clearance. I've redone the bunks on it. I do need to do some work on the trailer, but that probably won't be till next summer. Somebody tried to fabricate the trailer themselves, but that's something for another day. Got a 9.9 Mariner kicker. It's got a 3-liter OMC outdrive that just works amazing. I don't have to step into the inside of the boat. I've got a mast up front, got a Minn Kota Tarova with autopilot. Works amazing on the Great Lakes. Here we got your typical Seanymph setup. Excuse the video, this is my first ever video here, so bear with me. We got the 2 live wells that I really do not like. They are extremely small and just simply don't work for walleye or salmon. So I'm going to be changing that. That's one thing I'm going to want your opinion on. I'm going to be adding a live well, probably about 18 inches deep, straight across the front here. I'm going to be taking this completely out and adding a big storage spot right up there. I'm going to leave the pedestal here because I want to add a barbecue up front here. Got a couple of rod holders. I think I may end up changing those with one on the left side or none on the left side, and 3, maybe 4, see how many I can fit on the right side, because when I have the rods up there, then you can't close the windshield with this side here. On the windshield note of it, she isn't too bad, but she doesn't line up quite right. So that's one thing we're going to try to straighten out. One other thing is it's got that full-on stereo system, got a kicker and 2 speakers up there, and then we got one up here and one on that side. So that's something that I want to compact. If I end up keeping the subs, I may stick it underneath the dash somewhere. But I'll probably end up just taking the sub out and keeping the 4 speakers. I'd put one of the speakers here, one here, and then keep the 2 on the side. The storage locker does not work at all. So that's one of the things that I'm going to be playing with. Lots of storage in here. Just going to be redoing that in there. There's lots of wood that I'm going to need to be redoing. And this is probably going to be one of the biggest bird's nests that I'm going to be redoing, is just people that try to do their own wiring and it really does not turn out. One other thing that is up here that I don't like is I really enjoy storage, but this is always wet. No matter if I have this hatch open or closed, everything is always wet. All my tools are always rusty. So I'm going to be running storage spots. I'm hoping to add probably another storage locker here and there on the floor. Not too sure about that. It's all going to depend when I open it up, how much room's down there. I want to take a blower motor, and I'm going to run tubing through all my storage spots. And then that way I can turn it on a timer for a half hour a day, or even hook it up to the ventilation system that's on the outdrive and be able to get airflow through that way, just because right now with the way that is down there, there's just no airflow and it doesn't work like that. Necessities, got my anchor, which will be going up there in that front compartment, along with some of these life jackets are going to be going up there. And hopefully I'll be able to catch some of my dipsy divers and jets and stuff like that up in the side pockets. One other thing I got to work on is keeping my sandwiches inside so the wife don't get mad at me, is worm harnesses. But one thing for these rod lockers, I gotta say, that is probably the most useless piece that Seanymph ever did, or low. All it is you can get a little bit further back there, if I can get in there, a little bit further back there, but other than that it's only up here, and I'd probably say that's probably 1 2, 3, 4 feet max. Even if you split your rod in half, I'm running 9-foot poles or 9'6", and it makes it extremely difficult. One thing that I really don't like is they have the locks. So every time I need to open one, I need to grab a key and unlock it. So I'm going to be switching that out just for normal sized locks or normal sized doorknobs, whatever you want to call them. And this side storage here, back here we got the fuel can. And one thing I'm debating about is getting a fuel cell built, and then I'd have it in hull. It'd probably be about double the size of that, maybe a little bit bigger. Have it in hull and then actually have a fuel filler up there, and that way I can keep it in there and I don't have to take it out every time I fill it up, and I could actually run that fuel line right through up in there somehow. One thing I did add in here is aluminum all the way going across, as the wood was rotting up in there. Going over to this side here is, that's where I have my battery compartment, and you can just kind of tell how my wiring harness is just a mess, a disaster, and it is not fun at all. So like I mentioned earlier, that's going to be a big part of the rest. One of the things that I'd like to do, or anytime I go fishing, as soon as I get out there, I take the cushions off from beside here, take these out, so when you get to the back of the boat you can actually land the fish nicely. But then I never know where to put it. I always put them up somewhere where they get in the way. So what I was thinking about doing is I would end up having to move these, or somehow make these a little bit narrower, but put them on the hinge so they just flip up. You can walk out to the back, maybe put a little cushion on the bottom part as well, and off you go, and then you wouldn't have that issue as well. I've had several people fall through. That just barely fits, and so that would be built a little bit better. On my doghouse, what I have right now is I actually had to put these hinges on because on long road trips my doghouse would actually move forward. So one thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to have those slide hinges. I believe they're actually made for doghouses. One up here, one up there. And you guys can let me know if any of these ideas are dumb, better, good. Let me know. So here we have it underneath the doghouse. That's your typical 3-liter OMC Cobra. One thing I'm going to have to be doing is I'm going to be changing my props. Right now it says between 42 and 4600 wide open throttle, and I'm right at about 4000, 4100. So I can definitely gain about 5000 RPM, and I think I could get a better top end along with a whole shot. See if I can get a good shot up here. Yeah, see if I can post photos or add something to this video of how I did my JB weld on the crack. I V'd out the block and cleaned it out real nice. Did 1 layer of JB weld and ended up doing 2 more. And I used mesh over top. Apparently that was supposed to help it, and so far we're going strong. And this is my first season. I'd probably say about 10 hours of running time, and she's completely dry. So one thing that I'm going to be adding in here is actually a washdown kit. So what I'm going to do is put a hose reel, a retractable hose reel, mount it right up in here. So the hose reel will be coming out here. See if I can get that a little, there you go. Have it coming out here, so that way when the doghouse is closed, I'll be able to just grab it, come out, and come back in, and not have it laying around. One of the other things that I find extremely annoying, and hopefully somebody else can give me a better idea, is when you're out fishing and trolling, you know what, that net isn't really in the way. But when you're fighting a fish, one guy on this side, another guy on that side trying to land it, it really seems to get in the way. But I don't know where else to put it. Maybe somebody has a better idea of where to put it. This is probably the most exciting thing that I'm doing. I've just been waiting all summer, and I kind of want to start the restoration already, even though it is still fishing season. Is this whole top part is going to be coming off, and I'm going to be having an HDPE white tabletop on there. I'm going to be using that as a fillet table. So that way I'll be able to fillet them out on the water, or at least take the fillet off the carcass and leave the carcass out there. So that way when you get home, it's not nearly as much to do. Those seat bases are going to be coming out, definitely. And yeah, I think that's pretty well it. On a technical note, with my downriggers, it is not very fun to hook up my chamber lanes. In order to lean over so far and do them. These are Scotty's 1106s, I believe. I had Canon mini mags, and I liked it a lot better because the cable, I think it was probably about that high, and it just really allowed for that extra reach. I was thinking about putting a wedge or something in between there. Maybe somebody can give some insight on that and be able to do things a little bit more efficiently. And one thing I'm gonna have to upgrade is somehow upgrade my kicker bracket. I did a post on that a little while ago on Lou on Lake Ontario United, and I just don't think that this is going to be working. The brackets are bent, and I already added a couple of more bolts, and things just don't seem to be standing up on it. And so that's one thing on my list. I may be taking off the swim deck. Check it out, Mennonite Fishing Products. All right. The fishing deck, or the swim deck, just seems to kind of get in the way, and it's a nuisance. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I'm going to be redoing everything in vinyl. So I think another big thing that I'm going to have issues with is gaps everywhere, and making sure that everything is going to fit properly, specifically around doors and such. Right at the back around that door, so there's no gap. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the upholstery. It's not terrible, but it is starting to go. So yeah, we'll hopefully in about a month or so, maybe more, maybe less, I'm going to start the project, start tearing it apart. Should only take a few weeks or a couple of days actually to tear it apart. Documenting everything is going to be the hard part, and hopefully I'll have an update for you guys. But for now, give me some ideas, some do's, some don'ts. I have done about 4 other restorations, and they've all gone really, really well. I just figured this is something that somebody else can benefit off of, as there isn't very much information on these boats out there, and I really do appreciate when other people give me a hand. So we will be in touch. Take care. And here we are at the weigh scales. We're gonna find out what the sucker weighs before and after we restore it. So I got a feeling she's a little bit waterlogged, even though the foam often comes out nice. I still feel like it's not quite right. So let's go see. Pull up, zoom in. We're at 3,660 kilograms. And we'll find out what she'd be after.